your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell out before you blow up a plane.
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what good you say? I doubt it will stand up to something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Rumble, Rockfin. If you're listening to us on iTunes right now, please leave a kind review. I'm so excited for this guest. But before I bring in this fabulous, esteemed guest, I want to do a shout out to our sponsor for this evening. Oh yeah, that's right, guys. It's Copy My Crypto. Guys, the recession is underway. Fuel is through the roof. Food prices are insane. And people have begun to lose their homes. But there's no reason to be scared because recessions are the easiest time to make money. Say what? Take the last recession. Those who invested in property and stocks more than doubled their money inside of 2 years. But no market rose like crypto where people made 10, 50, even 100 times over the same period. That is what James McMahon did. He has a YouTube channel called Crypto with James, where he told his 22,000 subscribers to invest in the same 26 coins that he did. Had you put $100 into each one, you would have been in profit for more than 123 grand. His top pick of the year, a crypto called Phantom, went up a staggering 692 times. Remember, this is all public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this for yourself. James will be sharing every coin he buys during this recession on his Copy My Crypto membership site. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't have to know a thing about crypto or a thing about investing. You just copy along. You can get started today. It's that easy. So to join the 2,800 members who copy James, go to copymycrypto.com/Mayor. That's copymycrypto.com/MAYR. It's your call. You can thrive in this recession or you can be another victim. Go visit the site and read every word now. Yeah. Copy My Crypto. Also proud sponsors of the Orlando Content House, which our guest was at, and we will get into and discuss for sure. I got a couple of stand-up dates coming up. Guys, this Thursday, I will be at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick. That's out there in New Jersey. 7:30 show. Come on out this Thursday, November 17th. New Brunswick Stress Factory. Keanu Thompson will be opening for me. She was also at the Content House, so familiar faces. Then I got a weekend coming up in California. Friday, February 24th and Saturday, February 25th. I'll be at the Mic Drop Comedy Club in San Diego, California. One show Friday, one show Saturday. Get tickets now. You can get them on my website, chrissiemayr.com, to see me at the Mic Drop Comedy Club in San Diego. And we're working on more dates all the time. So like constantly tweet at me, tweet at the venue near you that you like. It's good to get on their radar. Because it's just me. It's just me booking all my stuff. I don't have management or anything. So the more you can harass the venues in a positive way by telling them you want me to perform there, the better. Because they listen to you guys. Also, I want to do another quick shout out to our other sponsor. This is a stressful time. I'm constantly stressed out. I think I have an anxiety problem, to be totally honest. But, what's here to help is Cushy Dreams. Cushy Dreams is #1 for smokable CBD flower and Delta 8. Their stuff helps with sleep, relaxation, feeling good, body aches and pains. But also, Cushy Dreams has just come out, hot off the presses, these THC gummies. Super cool. They light up your brain like a Christmas tree. Ooh, Christmas is coming. That sounds fun. They make you feel giggly, warm, fuzzy inside. Who knows? Maybe even a little horny. Cushy Dreams, Delta 9 THC gummies. This is the real deal OG THC, and it ships legally to you. Smells good. Comes in, this is 10 milligrams of THC. Comes in 4 euphoric flavors: strawberry, sour watermelon, green apple, tangerine. Go to cushydreams.com, KUSHY, dreams.com. At the checkout, use promo code CMP to get 20% off your next order. Get your gummies. Also, they do these really wonderful pre-rolls. If you're not a gummy kind of gal or gummy kind of guy, you can check out these pre-rolls, which I can definitely open the can all by myself. Oh my God, it smells really good. Woo! It smells like I'm back in college. All right, go to cushydreams.com. Use promo code CMP to get 20% off and get yourself a one-way ticket to Relaxy Town. Yeah. Thanks, Cushy Dreams. I want to have a... This music sells it. Thanks, guys. All right. Enough of that. Without further ado, I have kind of a legend on the show today. He is a veteran voice actor. He has voiced over 400 animated series. He was the executive producer and in a starring role as Captain Kirk on the Star Trek Continues show. Also, you can come see him at the Neutral Zone Studios this weekend, November 19th and 20th. He'll be doing a guided walkthrough tour of the studio with Dave Arland and William Smith, and he's going to give me more information on that because I'm sure I might have screwed up that intro or that information. Also, you may have seen him at the Content House, or if you are a Geeks and Gamers fan, you could have seen him at one of their meetups. Anyway, without further ado, my good friend Vic Mignogna, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Sorry, I'm waiting on copy my crypto.
Wow.
And then it's on to Cushy Dreams.
Oh my God, thank you. See?
Sour apple Cushy Dreams.
Yeah, time to get relaxed. I'm gonna pop one in the bathtub later and just calm myself down.
How are you doing, Chrissy?
I'm doing so good. I am having like I'm having Vic withdrawals. I don't know if this is a common side effect.
I was just gonna say I miss our karaoke time together so much.
You are low-key one of the best karaoke people I've ever had the pleasure of karaokeing with. Do you get that a lot?
God. No, because I don't do much karaoke, actually.
Oh my gosh. This is so crazy how we met, y'all, because I had like heard of Vic. I was like, he's this big time celebrity. He's like legendary. Like he probably would have nothing in common with me. And I just had heard about him for like months and months. And then I heard you're going to be at the Geeks and Gamers meetup. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll see you at the, at the, what's it called? The Rosen Plaza that they rented out. But you were at the Geeks and Gamers house. So we did Friday Night Tights. And then you came in and we just started talking. It was me and Lila Hart.
Yep.
And we were like, we're going to go to karaoke after this. Like, because someone just texted us, this is the plan. And then you were like, we were like, do you want to come? Thinking you would say no. Because like, who the hell are we? And you were like, yeah, I'm down. Let's go. And I was like, this is so fucking cool.
I loved every minute of it. That was one of my favorite weekends in a very long time.
Wow.
So many good people I got to meet. It was so much fun. And big shout out and love to all the Geeks and Gamers staff and people that were at that event. It was so great.
It was such an incredible event. I am so impressed with what they did. I respect those guys so much. They all work so well together. I was just astonished. Like this Rosen Plaza, I guess it was within a larger hotel. It was like this huge room. There was like a step and a repeat for photos. There was a huge long line of desks with like little tables with like merch and handshakes, and you could just go through and meet everybody. It was very organized, but at the same time, like very casual and not intimidating. And I just was blown away. Like I didn't expect, and I had so many people stopping me for like autographs and photos. It's like overwhelming because you're just like, I just tell dick jokes. Like what do you want?
Well, meeting you and the others there that weekend was my favorite part of the experience. It was so fun.
The fans were great. Yeah, we did karaoke one night, then we did karaoke a second night. The first night we went to this very Florida, like little
Oh
hole in the
my God.
wall bar. I walked in there, I was like, I feel like we're about to walk right out of this place. Like I thought we were gonna be in and be like, bye. Because we walk in, I was like, this looks like a retirement home birthday party. Like nobody in there was younger than 65. No, 75.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
at least.
it was like, okay, we've stumbled onto like a night, you know?
And it was
And
like it was
the
like it was,
energy was slow
and it
too.
was like it was their place, and you know, and it was their kind of home turf. Here, like it was like this. So they're all sitting at their tables, and we walk in, and this is what we get.
Yeah, we were disruptive. Yeah. We were like a couple of bulls in a china shop. Like
But
we
hey,
just
you know what?
really took over.
It didn't take long before we won them over.
Mhm.
You won the crowd.
You won the crowd. You were actually talented.
Oh, everybody was. What was the first one you sang? It was so great.
I think it was Black Velvet. That's usually my
Yes.
go-to.
Yes.
I ended just on my knees, like laying on the floor singing. Like
This girl knows
ecstatic.
how to perform a song in karaoke. That's all I want to say. She knows how to perform.
You were really good. You were singing Piano Man, you were singing Sweet Caroline. You really got the crowd going. Like you would embed yourself into the crowd.
See, that's the
And
key
yeah.
is they think you're great and really you're not. All you did was get them involved and made them feel good about it. So they're like, remember that one guy was so awesome. No, he really wasn't. He just brought you into it and you enjoyed it more.
It was so cool. And I'm watching like my porn star friend like dancing with like the local yokel. I was like, this is like gonna be that guy's probably like, I could die now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Gigi, it was Gigi. And she was dancing with some guy, and you could tell on his face it was like the best day of his life.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
His dreams came true that night.
His dream something came that night. Yeah.
Hell.
It was fun. We had a blast, and I'm
We
so
have to
glad
do it
everyone
again. We have to do it
got
again.
along. We are absolutely. We were just before I hit record. We've been scoping out locations for the next one. So the first night was great, and then the second night you came to karaoke. And is that the because I know you had done Anthony Cumia's show, or you guys had met
A long time
previously,
ago,
or
yeah. And when somebody said, you know, Anthony Cumia is going to be at the Content House, I was like, how do I know that name? I know that name. I know that name.
sounds familiar.
I couldn't remember how I knew it. And then somebody goes, weren't you on his show? And I was like, that's it. That was it.
And you're like, I'm on a lot of shows. Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments of the weekend is how well the two of you guys got along. Like, I just feel like you're both very similar but very different, and your personalities just vibed right away. You're both amazing at karaoke, and so he was there at the second night of karaoke. We went to like this other kind of hole in the wall bar, but that was on a strip mall.
Other hole in the wall.
Yeah, so many holes in the wall.
There are only two, and we hit them both. But
you completely took over that
Anthony
bar.
was great. In fact, it's funny that you mentioned, not funny, but I'm glad you mentioned the studio, Neutral Zone Studios. That's the studio that we built where we shot. We rebuilt the entire soundstage from the original series of Star Trek, and we shot all of our 11 episodes there. And then when we finished, Neutral Zone Studios took it over. But 1 weekend a month, they open it for people to walk through. And I got to tell you, if you have the tiniest little bit of Star Trek, nostalgic Star Trek love in your life, it is like nothing you've ever experienced. It's like stepping into a dream.
Wow.
And I love going down there and walking people through and, showing them everything and how we built it and how we did this and where we did that. And it's a wonderful experience. And I've been trying to get Anthony to come down. So
he was like drooling at the idea of like, I could come visit the set. What? Where is it? Yeah.
Yes, you can, Anthony.
He's very interested.
You kooky
Now,
Italian.
I was like not really a huge Star Trek fan. So can you, I guess mostly for me, explain the concept of the show a little bit? Because like
Absolutely.
the Star Trek Continues also came after, I guess, the first version
Yes. So
of the
here's
show. Okay.
here's the elevator pitch.
Okay.
The original series of Star Trek was 66 to 68 or 67 to 69. They were on for 3 television seasons before it was abruptly canceled. And yet at the beginning of every show, Captain Kirk would say, "These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. It's 5-year mission." Well, they didn't have a 5-year mission. They were canceled. Abruptly canceled. It just stopped. And you never saw those characters again until 10 years later, when Star Trek The Motion Picture was released. And by then, Kirk had become an admiral, Spock had gone back to Vulcan, McCoy had quit the service. Like, they all went their own separate ways. So my idea was, what if we rebuilt the whole soundstage and we pick up right where the original series left off, finish the 5-year mission, return the Enterprise to Earth, and actually craft some compelling, moving stories to explain why everyone was where they were when the motion picture picks up. And we end right where the motion picture begins. So our series finishes arguably the most iconic show in television history, and fills that gap perfectly right up to the motion picture.
Okay, wow. And
we've had tons of guest stars from very popular shows. There's some shots of us building.
Oh my God, you physically built this whole thing. Like,
Yeah,
it looks like you were in there. Like,
oh yeah, this was our baby. In fact, that might have been, I'm sure that's me in some of those shots. But our director of photography drew up that floor plan that you're looking at right there in the middle. And since then, we built the engineering section. We added sections to the bridge. We built a planet set. Nobody's ever done that before.
Whoa!
Since the original series, and it was quite a labor of love, but a lot of love and a lot of passion. I think, is that me right there?
Shirtless?
Yeah, I think that's
me. Yes, look at you.
Yeah, I would go. I loved it so much.
Picture.
What?
I feel like you look thinner than. I mean, I haven't never seen you in person without your shirt, but like, I feel like you look thinner than this picture.
I don't know.
Maybe it was a while ago.
I can't say.
But that's cool. You're really in there, unless it was just posed. Either way, I'm impressed.
Oh no. I went down there as much as I could to help build the sets myself. I loved it. Loved it.
So you did this for, I guess, 2 more years to finish out the 5-year.
Well, now we were a fan production. Now, what I mean by that is we didn't have a lot of money. So this was totally a fan production, but it was at a very high production level, very high level of production value. And so nobody was being paid. And everybody came down to, just because they wanted to be a part of it. And it's incredibly rare to bring that many people, 30 or 40 people together, and craft an episode and cast it and crew it and get all these people to come from all over the country to be a part of it. But it was a big labor of love. It took us 5 years and we produced basically 2.5 episodes a year.
Okay.
Which is unheard of for a fan production. And these are hour-long episodes, full cast, full crew, full sets, original music, special effects. It's like watching episodes of the original series that were locked in a vault somewhere for 50 years.
Wow.
That's
right.
the way we
Did you have to deal with like any copyright issues or?
Well, I mean, we didn't because it wasn't a commercial venture. We were making it as a labor of love. It was a fan film. It was just a fan film created by fans that really knew what they were doing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, which we see that a lot with Star Wars. I've seen so many.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That have blown me away. That look just as good as a professional, like multi-million-dollar deal.
Exactly. And we've got over 15 million viewers And we've received thousands of letters from people that are like, "Oh my God, I felt 10 years old again. Like
Oh,
you made me feel like I was 12 years old again watching Star Trek with my dad." And I mean,
that's
that
really
kind of
great.
experience is priceless, you know? We don't
Yeah.
charge anything. You can watch all the episodes for free at StarTrekContinues.com. And I like to tell people it's free and at the same time it's priceless.
Oh, can people donate? Like people that are there and they are
Yeah.
grateful and want to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, the guy that owns the studio now, he doesn't charge for any tours or any walkthroughs. He just lets people donate if they enjoyed it. So basically, kind of pay it forward. You know,
Wow.
like, did you have a good time? Well, it was free for you. And how about if you donate, and then it's free to the people that are coming after you. So
Yeah. That's great. Were you able to get anyone who worked on the original show to be involved with yours?
our very first episode out of the gate was an episode called Pilgrim of Eternity. The reason why it was super special was because it was a sequel to an original series episode where the Enterprise came to a planet where they came across the Greek god Apollo. And he had been waiting there for thousands of years for humanity to venture out into space because he wanted them to worship him again the way the ancient Greeks did. And of course, Kirk is like, "Nah, we're not doing that, right? I'm sorry, we're past that." And it was a great episode, but our first episode was a sequel to that episode, and we got Mike Forrest, the guy who played Apollo in the original episode 60 years ago,
Whoa.
reprise his role. And what's cool is in Star Trek time, only 2 years had passed since they saw him, but of course, he's 85 years old now, 90 years old. So we had to come up with an excuse with a story-driven reason
Yeah.
why he's 90 years old and it's only been 2 years.
He visited a planet that aged him horribly. Yes.
Very close. You'll have to
used the
check it
wrong-
out.
He
But
used the wrong moisturizer. Yeah. No,
that's right. He
that's
certainly didn't know anything about what's it? Cushy Dreams.
Oh, right. Cushy dreams, or maybe he picked up a horrible like tanning habit, which aged him.
That could have done it.
That's really neat. I imagine the equivalent for me would be if somebody did like a remake of Married with Children.
Oh
And
my
like
gosh.
extra because
right?
I watched that with my dad all the time. It probably wasn't like the best thing for a kid to watch,
And
but
you would get to play Peg, right?
I mean, like I was a little kid, but I was like, oh, because I felt like it was exactly how my parents' relationship was, where they were like constantly cutting each other down. And I'm like, oh, this is normal. This is like Peg and Al. That's really neat. That's so cool.
I'm very, very proud of it and everyone that was involved in it. So many good people. And like I said, they loved Star Trek, and we came to love each other and had a great time. And we would come together twice a year from all over the country and spend 8 or 9 days in this beautiful town, Kingsland, Georgia. We took over the hotel, we took over the restaurants, and we would shoot our episode, then go home. I'll go home and come back again a few months later and shoot another one. And I miss them all a lot, and I'm incredibly proud of the work that we did.
No, it seems awesome. From Young Pei Chang, Vic makes me almost feel like anime isn't trash after all, and I can start liking it again.
Well, Young Pei, let me tell you this. There's good and bad in everything. There are good TV shows and crappy TV shows, and there are great movies and not so great movies, and there are awesome books and crappy books, and there's great music and crappy music. And you know what? There's also great anime and not so great anime. So the trick is really finding stuff that you like, that appeals to you, and ignore the rest.
And you voiced on Dragon Ball Z, which is one of like the only animes I've heard of, or am I wrong?
Yes, I
Okay.
played Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Z, and also sang one of the opening theme songs to the show. And also some of the more well-known shows that I've been a part of the 400 are Pokemon, Digimon,
What?
Naruto, Bleach, Sonic, Full Metal Alchemist,
Did you? Okay, so I knew the girl. I did improv with the girl who voiced Ash, Sarah Natacheni. Did you ever work with
Really?
her? Yeah.
We've done a couple of shows together.
No way. I was always so impressed by her because I remember I'd be like 21, 22 years old doing improv at the UCB, like in the city. And she was in one of my like 101 or 201 classes. And she was
Wow.
so interesting because she was so young, but she like got into this like baller voice acting gig. And I was like,
she took over. I want to say, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good friends with Veronica Taylor, who was Ash for many, many years.
okay.
And Sarah is now the new Ash, and she's doing a killer job. And we've done several events together around the New York, New Jersey area. She's awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah, so she's still doing it. So she
Yeah,
got
as
that
far as I
gig,
know,
what, like
yeah.
06 maybe? 07 she got it?
I don't know, but
Wow.
as far as I know, she is, and I know what I've heard, she's awesome.
That's so neat. What a freaking small world.
Yes.
It's usually like, when like you meet a black person, you're like, oh, do you know this other black person? They're like, we don't all know each other, but maybe it is that way with voiceover.
Voice acting, believe it or not, is a very
Yeah.
small kind of a small industry. It was much smaller when I started.
Yeah.
It was very small when I started. It was quite a little niche
Wow.
industry that not many people knew about. But then I was lucky enough to get in on it on the ground floor, and then it kind of has exploded into the mainstream over the last 10 years or so, and I was just fortunate enough to be a part of it.
This is from Hicks and Hammer. Star Trek Continues was like watching lost esoteric episodes, and it felt natural. You were my favorite Kirk, other than the original. It was some of the best writing for an independent production. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Hickson, thank you. I was just giving this pitch to Chrissie before we started, and I literally said that. It's like finding episodes that were locked in a vault somewhere. So
Wow.
thank you, Hickson. Thank you for that. You need to come down to the studio, bro.
Yeah. How did you get into like voiceover acting? Did someone say, hey, you have a great voice, you should get into this? Or were you always curious?
No, it was weird. I've been acting since I was very young. I've done a lot of musical theater, a lot of stage work, and some on-camera stuff, and all through college and all of it. And I about 20 some years ago, I was living and working in Houston, Texas, and I was working on a video production with a guy, and he said, we became buddies, and he said, hey, you have a lot of acting experience, don't you? And I was like, yeah. And he said, you should go and audition for this place in town. They buy these Japanese animated shows and they dub them into English, and they're looking for actors. Now, all I heard was they're looking for actors. And I was like, wait,
right there.
like Speed Racer and stuff like that? And he's like, yeah. So I went auditioned, and I really, I didn't really know what I was doing. I got in front of the mic and I just tried to match this character's, movements and stuff. And I got cast in a show, and it was fun. And then I figured, well, that was a really interesting one-time random bucket list thing to get to do. And then a few weeks later, they called me and said, hey, you want to come be a part of another show? And I was like, sure. I mean, I didn't even know what they did with it. I went in and I did my little thing, but to me, it was acting. It was just fun. And it just kept going. Another show, another show, another show, another series. And the next thing you know, I was being invited to anime conventions. I didn't even know they had those. Like when I was a little kid, I went to Star Trek conventions, but I didn't know they had anime conventions, and I got invited, and I was just overwhelmed by all of the fans. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a wall scroll of my character. And oh my gosh, there's an action figure of a guy I played. And these fans would come up and go, will you sign this? And it's a picture of my guy. And I'm like, this is crazy. But I fell in love with it, and started getting involved with studios in LA and studios in New York. And
you're from Houston?
No, not really. I was from Pittsburgh, actually.
Oh wow, how'd you get rid of that accent?
Well, I don't think I ever had it.
Ian's guys.
Yeah, going to a Steelers game. I don't think I ever really had it, because I went away to boarding school when I was 14, in South Carolina. Thank heavens I didn't pick that one up either,
Oh, wow.
that accent. But then I went to school in Virginia and South Carolina, and then I met a girl that lived in Houston, and I was working for a Christian television network in Virginia, and I met this girl that lived in Houston, and so I moved out there, and that didn't work out, but there I was. And I taught video and film production and music production at the Art Institute of Houston.
Ooh.
And I ran camera for a lot of sports teams, and I continued to do video and film production work. And then I met the guy that introduced me to the studio and started dubbing anime.
Wow. Do you own like a character or like an action figure of every character you've done?
Well, I will tell you this. Over there are two little shelves.
Let's see. Can we see them? No, not really.
Here, I'll show you. Ready?
Okay. All right.
Two little shelves.
Oh, a tour. Oh, I love this.
These are all different characters that I've played.
Look how organized they are. They're so well behaved sitting there.
Yes.
Wow. And what are those records on the wall?
Well, one of them was my first record, and one of them was a gift from Barry Manilow.
What?
Because I love Barry Manilow. He was the one that got me started playing the piano and writing songs, and I never met him. And about 5 years ago, my dear friend Dave Arland, who's going to be at Neutral Zone Studios this weekend, my dear friend Dave Arland, turns out he was a big Barry Manilow fan too. And he called me one day and he said, "Hey, have you ever met Barry?" And I'm like, "No. The only person I have yet to meet who had a huge influence on my life that I never have was Barry." And he goes, "Well, he's performing in Vegas and you can buy this special ticket, like, platinum package, and you go backstage and get to spend like 5 minutes in a room talking with him. And they take pictures and they give you like a memento to take home." So that's that.
Wow, that's cool. Is he still alive? I feel like I should
He is.
do this.
He is.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, he's still performing away. He's great.
Oh, wow. That's so neat.
But I was 17 years old and I was in a boarding school in South Carolina when a friend of mine introduced me to his music. And there was something about it that just resonated with me. You know what I mean? Like I just liked his style. It was unassuming. You know what I mean? He wasn't showy.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't playing up the sex appeal or tight pants or, none of that garbage. He's just a composer, singer, songwriter. And there was just such a kind of a simple honesty about his music. And I started I taught myself to play the piano.
Wow.
And then I started writing songs like his. And then now today I've got 6 CDs of original music on iTunes, and I've produced 20 or 30 records for other people. I've recorded, written, and produced hundreds of songs and jingles and worked for ad agencies for many years, which is something that Barry Manilow did early on in his career. So it was neat to get to meet him and say, tell him what an impact he had on my life, and that I actually, write jingles and do very much a lot of the stuff that he does. It was
that's really cool. So Barry Manilow was an influence. Who else influenced you?
William Shatner. My parents divorced when I was 9 years old. My dad took off and never had any relationship with him. But then that was right at the same time that I discovered Star Trek on television. And I would come home every day at 5 p.m. and I would lay on the floor in front of a 19-inch black and white television and watch Star Trek. And Captain Kirk kind of became kind of like a father figure, like a role model.
Yeah.
So I ultimately, because of my voice acting career, I started getting represented by a booking agent who also happens to represent Bill Shatner.
Whoa.
So he started booking us into a lot of events. We've done dozens of events together. We've had dinner together. We've hung out. And the first 50 times I was with him, I never even said the words Star Trek out loud. I just, as far as he knew, I was another actor who was signing 2 tables down over there. And we became friends. And then we did the Middle East Film and Comic-Con in Dubai together.
Whoa.
And
Dubai's super bougie, isn't it?
yes, very bougie. And we were having dinner one night, he and his wife and me and our booking agent. And his wife said to me, Vic, what is this Star Trek thing everybody's talking about? And I was like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No, no, no. And so I started telling her, but I didn't say anything to Bill. I didn't even look at Bill. Like, Bill was sitting right beside me and his wife was sitting across from me. And so I was telling her about it. And she's like, is it an animated thing? I know you do animated things. I'm like, no, actually it's live action. And I said, well, actually, Elizabeth, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I picked up my phone and I walked around and I knelt down beside her and I showed her some pictures from our production. And she goes, oh my gosh, you look just like young Bill.
Oh.
And he took the phone and he's like, wow, this looks great. And I leaned over and I put my arm around his shoulder and I said, this was all to pay tribute and love to you and the others. You have no idea how much you and the others meant to me when I was a little boy.
Oh.
And this was all made as a tribute to you. And he put his arm around my shoulder and he's like, that's extraordinary.
Ah!
And
Wow.
so I finally did ultimately tell him, and he has heard from the fans a great deal, I'm sure, about our series. But
Right, that's cool.
we love him. So I would say those are the 2 biggest influences in my life, were probably Bill Shatner and Barry Manilow.
Wow. And you've become like buds sort of with them both, or at least
Kind of, yeah.
with them
It's
both.
really neat. It's really, really, really special to have been able to tell them how much they meant to me.
And so now you're in basically the fan expo scene, the anime matsuris. How many of these conventions have you been to? Like these conventions?
Over the course of my career, I've been to over 500.
Oh my God. Whoa.
But I enjoy them. And you know what, Chrissy, I love people. You know, there are a lot of pervy, weird people out there who don't understand this. They think if you like people, you have some ulterior motive. They think if you hug people, it's because you're a creeper. No, believe it or not, and I'm speaking to the pervs, believe it or not, there are people that are actually good people that actually just care about people. They don't have any ulterior motives. They don't have any twisted fantasies or any weird, underlying sinister plot in their minds. They just like people. And I'm one of them. I love talking to people, interacting with people, hearing their stories. I love, when we record voice acting, animation stuff, you're in a studio. There's no audience. And as a comedian better than anybody, how much energy you draw from a live audience.
You need
people. Connect with them. You feel that energy and you interact with them. Well, when you're a voice actor, there's no audience. So there's no way whether what you're doing is landing or missing. So to go to events and have people share with you how much your work meant to them on this show or on that series or this character. This weekend, Chrissy, I was at a convention in Oklahoma. And you see that? See this little girl?
Oh, yeah.
She came up to my table and started sobbing. And her mother was with her. And her mother leaned in and said, you saved her life. And I was like, whoa, 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 what? And she went on to tell me how she discovered some animated shows that I was in when she was going through a very, very dark time in her life. And that they literally got her through it. And I mean, the tears were just rolling. And I was thinking to myself, how blessed am I?
Wow.
How blessed am I that I randomly stepped through this door, not having any idea what was on the other side of it 20 some years ago. And now I've had the chance, dare I even compare it? I've had the privilege to mean something in other people's lives in the same way that Bill Shatner meant to me when I was young. You can't put a price tag on that. You can't. And I
No.
am so enormously grateful. And one of the reasons that I love doing events is because I am so deeply, deeply grateful and humbled by work that I did that meant a lot to people.
It must be hard to not also get emotional when someone is coming up to you, like, breaking down in tears, or, like, I haven't had anybody, like, quite like that, but I've had some people like, when they meet you, they're very, like, emotional and, like, overwhelmed, and you can't help but take some of that in and feel
Yeah.
that as well.
Well, and
And
having been on the other side of that table, I know what they're feeling. I know what they're saying. You know what I mean? When somebody, I mean, I remember, I know it was a long time ago, but I remember going to Star Trek conventions. I remember my mom dropping me off at a hotel in Pittsburgh, downtown Pittsburgh, at 13 years old, and going into this Star Trek convention and going to the autograph room and stepping up to the table, and there's DeForest Kelley, who played Dr. McCoy. There's Jimmy Doohan, who played Scotty. There's George Takei, who played Sulu. They're right there across the table. And I'm 13-year-old, putting my hand out. And I can feel DeForest Kelley's hand grasp mine. And I'm shaking his hand and he's signing. And I'm standing there going, this is unbelievable. Like, that's Dr. McCoy right there. He's sitting right in the flesh. I remember that feeling. And so now when I'm on the other side of that autograph table and fans come up, I want to make sure they know that I do not take this privilege lightly, that I am incredibly honored and humbled. And I want to make that experience as positive for them as I can.
Yeah. Especially when you hear, like, "You got me through a dark time," like, it goes to show you, like, you have no idea, like, who you're touching, whose lives you're helping, right, it's one thing, like, yeah, you're on stage, like, comedy-wise, like, you can see people laughing, you meet them after, but then there's people you'll never even meet
Right.
who
And like with live stage, I mean, I've done a lot of live theater, and when you're on stage, you feel that connection with the audience and you're creating a moment, and you've got other actors there, and there's this energy. It's a high, it's a natural high. But when you're voice acting, you're in a padded box. And if you say something that's supposed to be funny, nobody's laughing. You're in tears trying to deliver a performance with a character that's heartbroken. Nobody's crying. So you just hope you're doing it good,
Wow. Like, is there anyone there who can give you like a little bit of feedback? Like,
Oh,
there's no
sure. The
audience,
director,
but
there's a director
okay.
in the control room. There's a director and an engineer. And yeah, and there's that. But at the same time, it's a job, and we've got to get this done in a certain amount of time, and we're on the clock.
Yeah.
And, okay, you did that line, good, go to the next line. And you realize that line you just spoke was recorded, and it's going to go on a disc, and it's going to be distributed all over the planet.
Wow.
You can't take it back. 25 years from now, whatever your performance was is locked in stone in that production. So, I take a great deal of pride and care about the work that I do, because I know that it's going to far outlast me. So I want it to be good. Some people, don't take it as seriously, and some people do.
Do you feel like you're kind of like a perfectionist? Like, are you thinking about that? Like, this is the take, like, you won't be able to redo it.
Yeah, yes, I'm very much of a perfectionist. And I think that's a two-edged sword. Being a perfectionist usually makes you really good at what you do, but it also sets a very high bar, and it's easy to be discouraged. It's easy to to feel like you didn't do a good job. I was on Star Search many years ago.
Really? I love
Many
that
years
show.
ago. Many years ago, Ed McMahon, remember that?
Mhm.
Many years ago, I was a male vocalist challenger on Star Search.
Wow.
And I remember so clearly standing in the wings waiting to go out and sing in front of 4 million people. And I remember saying to myself, as long as I walk off the other side of the stage feeling like I did my best, that's really all I can give, right? All you can do is your best. If I was the challenger and the guy that was the champion at the time, if he's a better singer than me, he's a better singer than me. You know what I mean? There's really not much to be done about it. So I sang a song that I wrote, and I didn't win, and I didn't do as well as I wanted to. And I always, that was an example of one of those things where, I was so down on myself for a long time because I didn't do as well as I knew I could have. But there are directors too. I have to tell you this funny story too. Speaking of wanting to be a perfectionist, I've literally had directors before who tell me that it annoys them. Well, one director in particular, that when I do a line, when I record a line and they say, "Oh, that was great, let's move on," and I say, "Can I try it one more time because I feel like I've got a better read on it," and they go, "Okay." And it kind of annoyed this person because they're like, "Look, I'm the director and I was fine with it." I'm like, "Well, I get that, but since when do you not want it to be the best it can be?" I mean, it's not like I'm going to go overtime. It's not like I'm going to cost you any more money. But I mean, Chrissy, if you were directing a show and an actor did something, you're like, "That's fine." And the actor's like, "Hey, what about this though?" And he gives you the option of something that's even better. Wouldn't you want the best out of everyone?
Yeah, of course. Didn't what's his face? The guy who directed oh my god. I can't think of it. It was with what's her face? He treated everybody really badly. The blood in the elevator. Oh my god. The guy died in the snow. What was the name of that movie?
Oh my gosh.
Red Rum.
Oh,
Shining. The
yeah,
Shining.
Shining.
Didn't that guy make the actors do a ton? Yes, Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Didn't he make the actors do a ton of takes over and over until literally the main actress was literally had a permanent mental breakdown from how many takes she had to do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not that bad, but I do.
I know.
I promise I'm
Wow,
not
my brain is
responsible for
melted.
anyone
Yeah,
dying in the snow.
127 takes. So doing one more is not a big deal.
No, in fact, there are some people that, yeah, you know what? If it matches the flaps and you got it right, let's move on. And for me, I'm like, like I said, once you let it go, you can't pull it back. So I like to make sure that it's as good as it can be.
Yeah. Wow. I think I may have found some footage of you singing at Star Search.
No.
Let's see. Let me know. Is this it? Okay, it's sideways. Is this even
No.
No? Okay.
No,
Okay.
because Star Search, you know how I know that's not Star Search?
Okay.
Because Star Search was 1993.
Oh, and it wouldn't have been like that. It would have been
I looked a
poor
lot
quality.
younger.
Well, that's really cool. I remember one of my favorite presents ever that I got for Christmas was a Star Search microphone.
Yes.
And I have a picture of me being too short to reach it on the shortest setting, and it had 2 buttons on it. I don't even know if they did anything. Honestly, they might have just been for show or lights. But I loved this microphone, and I guess that was a sign of my future because I just was obsessed with that. Yeah.
Apparently.
Aw, that's really neat. So you've been to a lot of these conventions and you know what it's like to be a fan, so you don't take it lightly. You're not arrogant. I was amazed. My first impression of you, it was like we had been friends for years. You're so warm and kind, and it's awesome because I just, you observe kind of like, I guess, being in show business, like you just observe people get very cocky, like as they become more successful, they get kind of very out of touch with like regular people.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, you're
yeah.
not that way at
There
all.
there are those, but I think one of the benefits of having gotten into it at the age that I did, um, I didn't take it for granted as much. I think, people that get some kind of fame or celebrity or success when they're like in their 20s or something, they kind of think, they're all that in a bag of chips, and, you know, and can very easily develop an attitude. But I didn't even start voice acting until I was almost 40.
Oh, wow.
So I very, very grateful. I recognized it as the gift that it was, and didn't take it for granted at all.
I think that's very similar to what makes Anthony Cumia such a great person because he was working in HVAC or something, and he just kind of fell into doing radio and got success like a little bit older. I don't know if he was in his 30s, but has always remained so down to earth and in touch with regular people and
Yeah.
has no ego and has no arrogance. And you both are very similar in that way.
Thank you.
From
Thank you for
Brain Brain,
brain,
STC,
brain while brain.
Brain with Brain, STC feels authentic. Absolutely loved it.
Thank you, brain while brain. I love you.
Is that one of your fans?
I recognize that name. I think Brain While Brain is one of my. I do a live stream. I didn't even tell you about that, did I? You guys were
No, you
asking
did
about that.
not.
I do a live stream on Twitch every
Oh,
Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Central. Real Vic Mignogna, and we have a couple hundred fans that I just started it a little while ago, and we get together every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central. And Brain While Brain is one of my wonderful Twitch family members.
oh, cool. Okay, from Premium Nick, not regular Nick, Premium Nick. Vic Mignogna, the legend, my oldest friend, and I dressed as the Hitchin twins at Supernova Brisbane 10 years ago. Hopefully you may remember. You are one of the coolest humans ever. Hope Supernova Australia
Oh my
invites you
God.
back.
Nick, first of all, I think I do remember you and your oldest friend dressing as the Hitachi twins, you crazy doppelgangers. And I want you to know I love your country. I have been to Supernova in Australia probably a dozen times, and I would love to get back there soon. So do me a favor, Premium Nick, just like Chrissy asked people to write and call and politely, but make your voices heard. Please, you and as many of your friends as possible, Nick, contact the staff of Supernova and tell them you want me back. I would love to get back there. I loved the people and that country.
I can't believe I pronounced Hitachi wrong because I own a Hitachi magic wand. I can't believe I did not
Oh, really?
know that to say it the
Well,
right
it's
way.
not a word you see written out very often. So
No, it's true. Okay, from Aldiswar Vic, thank you for Star Trek Continues and staying true to the original. Any chance you will ever make more lost episodes?
well, Aldi's War. I wish. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. But the good news is that we set out what we intended to do. We intended to finish the original series of Star Trek, and we did that. I don't think it will ever be done. Certainly, I don't think to the level that we did it. And while I did hope to make more than 11 episodes, because of a bunch of things that I'm not going to go into, they weren't related to us. We had a great relationship with CBS. But due to some events that had nothing to do with us, the landscape changed, and we needed to wrap it up as soon as we could. So we were able to make 11, and I'm very, very glad that we at least were able to finish the series. But thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy it. Please spread the word, Aldeswar.
I like that you actually try to pronounce their names. I kind of stopped doing that.
Well, you know, every
RP
time somebody comes into my Twitch stream, well, every time I start my Twitch stream, I spend the first 5 minutes going, "Hi, Brain Wild Brain. Hi, Sisa. Hello, Dragon Ball King. Hello." And I try to make sure to say hello to everybody.
Aw, that's great. Okay, I think this is a voice actor they're asking about here. RPG Dad. Is Vic aware? Have any comments on Helena Taylor, voice actor Bayonetta, and the whole controversy?
Nope, I am not
Okay.
RPG Dad. I try to avoid that kind of stuff as much as I possibly can. No, I don't. I'm afraid I don't know who that is. RPG Dad.
They don't all know each other.
Yeah, I know a lot of them, but
Yeah.
then there are plenty that I don't know as well, and especially over the last few years when COVID hit and everything kind of shut down. I know there are a lot of new people in the industry that I haven't had the privilege to meet.
Okay, makes sense. What's up, Demogeni? Great meeting you in Florida, Vic. Always good to see you, Chrissy.
You too, Dimagini. It was great to meet you as well. Hopefully. Oh, by the way, Dimagini, am going to be back in Orlando
Ooh.
at Funko Pop Con on, let's see,
Is that the holiday one?
No, that's Holiday Matsuri. That's an anime event. I've never been to that event actually, but this one is December 10th and 11th.
Okay.
Funko Pop Con, December 10th and 11th. You can look it up, and that's Funko Pop Con with a K. And I'll be back down in Orlando, and I would love to see as many of those people in Orlando as possible that I got to meet during the Geeks and Gamers thing.
That was so much fun. Matthew
Oh my
Hammond,
God.
are the recordings done separately with all the voice actors, or do you do it as a group like a radio play?
Great question, Matthew. You know what? I wish we all got together and did it like a radio play. When you dub anime, and this is there are two different types of animation dubbing. There is dubbing like anime, and then there's what's called prelay. Prelay would be like standard American animation, like Simpsons or Family Guy. They would all get together in a studio and they would perform the scenes kind of like a radio play. And then when the actors are done, the director chooses the takes he likes and he sends it off to the animators, and they animate the video to what the actors did.
Wow.
Now that is what we call a dream come true. Because when you're dubbing anime, the animation's already done. So you have two challenges. One, match the mouth movements of a locked, finished, final animation. But at the same time, number two, deliver a believable performance.
Wow.
Make it feel natural and smooth and conversational and funny or scary or sad or whatever. So the answer is we do them separately, Matthew, because we have to match the mouth flaps. It would be impossible to get 4 or 5 people in there and expect them all to hit every line on the first take. So it's easier to just do it one at a time.
I'm going to start saying mouth flaps. I love that. Joseph Fazia, Vic, you can pull off a great Starfleet captain.
Thank you, Joseph. Look at that name. Now that's a fellow Italian right there. Hey, Joey Fazio.
Hey. Well, guess what? Because we have another Italian in the chat. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. From Neo, Vic, from one Italian brother to another. I'm going to butcher this. Ti amo. Stay strong. Keep doing what you're doing. And forget all the naysayers. They got nothing on you.
Oh, thank you. Grazie, grazie. Paisan.
Hey, I'm walking
you're
in.
You're good. You're good. Thank you so much, Neo. Thank you so much for that. I'm doing what I can do. I'm doing everything I can do. And I always want to make sure and let good people like Neo know how grateful I am for their kindness and support.
Especially if they're Italian.
Especially.
From Brandon Vic, a few years ago, you were at Comic-Con in Winnipeg with Shatner, recognized you, but hadn't seen STC yet. Saw it after. It was fantastic. Burned them on Blu-ray. Regret not meeting you then. Next time.
Well, Brandon, thank you, man. I'm so sorry that you hadn't seen it yet, but I'm glad you've enjoyed it, and I would love to get back up to Winnipeg to see you again. Put in a good word. You and your friends put in a good word with the events up there. But in the meantime, Brandon, they do have airplanes that fly from Winnipeg to Jacksonville, Florida. And you should get some buddies and do a road trip and come down and see our studio where we shot our series. And you can sit in the captain's chair and you can step up on the transporter.
Ooh.
And you can, you're on the Enterprise. It's amazing.
I think
Thank
that's
you,
worth
Brandon.
it.
I'm so glad, man. Thank you.
Let's go, Brandon. Okay. Innovator.
Yes.
Shout out to Vic as Junpei Iori in Persona 3. The PSP remaster will come out next year. Thank you for voicing his character in this series. God bless.
Oh, God bless you, Innovator Setsuna. Such a pleasure. I love Junpei. Dun, 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 dun. I love Junpei. He was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Do a lot of the characters sound similarly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I tell people, Chrissy, and you'll get this because, you're an actress and a performer. I tell people all the time, it's not about changing your voice. It's about playing a character. The goal is not to change your voice and sound different every time because you're limited on what you could possibly do. But if you think of a lot of actors, people whose work you really like, and they've played dozens of different characters, but they always sound like themselves. Because the goal isn't to change your voice. The goal is to play the character, honestly. So I like to tell people, you could probably take a line of dialogue from 10 different characters of mine and string them all together and listen to it and go, oh, gosh, it's totally the same guy. It's the same voice. But if you were to watch each of those 10 shows, you would be like, oh my gosh, this character is completely different than that character. And it's kind of like the difference between playing someone who's smooth and elegant and rather sophisticated and playing someone who's kind of scrappy. Well, the voice is the same. The attitude is different. The personality is different. So that's the goal of voice acting. It's not to change your voice. It's to play the character.
Who do you want to be? Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Flipping Boss. Hey, Vic, big fan of yours. I love your work and I admire you as a person. I've never been to a con before, but if I ever do, I hope you are one of the first people that I meet. Keep at it, and I hope the best for you.
Thank you. Big Flipping Boss. You are my flipping boss.
You're getting the most love, honestly, of any show or guest I've had. You're getting the most positive comments. It's this is amazing. Dustman.
I don't know where you live. Big Flipping Boss, but if I get anywhere near you at an event, please come and be like, yo, it's me, Big Flipping Boss.
Remember me? Yeah. Love you, Vic.
I would love it.
Chrissy, you have to watch Full Metal Alchemist. It's my favorite and one of Vic's best animes. Yeah, I'm embarrassed at how little of your stuff I've watched.
Dustman is not wrong. Dustman is not wrong. Full Metal Alchemist is... I will tell you this, Chrissy, and it's not because of me. I want to preface what I'm about to say is not because of me. But on every list ever of the top 10 anime of all time, Full Metal Alchemist is always on that list.
Wow.
It is a wonderful series with such a compelling story, such wonderful characters, music, animation, everything about it is just amazing. And I hope you'll check it out.
Oh, I will. That's what I'm doing tonight as soon as we're done. Young Pei Chang, who are your top 3 living or past artists you'd love to sing with?
Young Pei, good question.
Ooh.
How about you, Chrissy?
Well, me and Vic tried to sing In the Shadows, the song from, God, it was Lady Gaga. And I was horrible. I was so bad. In fact, Vic disappeared in the middle of the song.
It's not true.
I was like, where's my partner? He walked away.
Where's that bus you just ran me over with?
No, it's okay. I was horrible.
You just threw me under. No, it was really fun. It was fun. To be fair, duets are always tricky because if either one is not certain of what harmony, we both had no idea what we were doing, but you know what? It was fun, and that was all that mattered.
And you were like, you know that song, right? And I said yes. And then as soon as we started, I was like, I don't think I really know this song. I have heard this song.
Tell me something, girl. Have you ever sung this song in your life?
I was like, I enjoyed watching other people sing it.
Yes, it was fun.
Apache, shout out to Vic. Met you at AWA over a decade ago, and it's still the best meet and greet encounter I've had.
Oh, thank you, Apache. I loved AWA. I was a regular. That's Anime Weekend Atlanta.
Oh.
And the guy that used to run that show was a dear friend of mine, and I was there every year. And then some new people took it over, and apparently they don't like me much. So they don't seem to care about the fans that, that pay the ticket price to come. They don't like me, so they don't invite me, unfortunately. But Apache, I love that show, and I'm very honored that I got the chance to meet you. If I ever do anything in Atlanta again, please come and say hello. Thank you.
Ooh, okay. From Basil, hello Vic. Thank you for being an awesome, genuine person. You are a role model and encourage me to be a better person. What do you think of Sony's growth in the anime industry and U.S. distribution?
Well, Basil, is it Basil or Brazil?
Oh, it's probably
It
Brazil.
looks like Brazil without the R, but it
Right.
also looks. But I know that people are named Basil. Maybe it's Basil with a Z. I don't know. But Basil, what do I think about Sony's growth? Well, I don't know how I feel about it. I would hate to see. You know what happens when big companies get involved with things? They tend to suck the heart out of whatever it was. And I don't even need to tell you guys some of the examples of film franchises, TV shows, things that were a big hit, and they had all this love and passion around them, and then they were a big hit, and in come the big studios and the big companies, and they take them over, and then they start squeezing every bit of life and personality out of whatever that thing was that they took over. I hope that doesn't happen with the anime industry. I know that there a lot of companies are merging, and I hope that when that happens, that it doesn't make those companies too impersonal. I have a lot of very fond memories of recording a lot of these shows in dinky little studios, that no one would ever imagine what was going on in there. And there was a great deal of camaraderie and friendship and warmth and connection. I hope that doesn't go away as the industry grows.
Very thorough answer. Interesting. Okay. Eric Medved. Vic, love your work on ST and FMA from one Pittsburgher to another. Nearly same age, probably to same cons, and stood in the same lines to get all.
Oh, Eric, that's awesome. So Eric and I may have very well been at some of those Star Trek conventions in Pittsburgh together when we were little kids.
Aw.
I love it, Eric. Thank you, buddy. Again, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but if I ever get back to the Pittsburgh area, I've done events in that area before. If I ever get back there, Eric, I'd love to meet you in person. Thank you.
Yeah. There's a lot of compliments on your hair in the chat, Vic, for sure. People are, very taken with you. Do you have a moisturizing regime? Do you want to share any of your secrets?
I don't know. Here's what I do. I have this bar of soap.
Oh, okay.
I have this washcloth, and I rub them together like so, and then I do this.
Okay. Aha.
And then people are like, what moisturizer do you use? You know what moisturizer I use? Whichever one is in the little in the little tube at the hotel.
Right.
Like, I don't even know what's in it. I whatever. Look at your complexion, Chrissy.
Oh, stop.
I do.
But maybe I'll try the soap thing, because I'm always buying some like crazy expensive shit from Sephora, and sometimes I'm like, do I even need this?
Yeah, you never know, right? You don't know what would happen if you didn't use it. It's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like that Airborne. How they're like, you take this so you don't get a cold. Well, how do you know you were going to get a cold? Like, how do you know if it's working? Maybe you weren't going to get one anyway. But
where's the control group?
Sold you a tube of that stuff.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? There's no alternate universe. Oh,
Exactly.
Armagard wants to know how weird Anna is. I've hung out with Anna. She's great. I'm obsessed with Anna. I watched her passed out drunk in a face full of makeup and then wake up the next morning, look stunning. Like she almost looked better than the night before. So she is like she's amazing. She's like
Well,
an
I
alien.
think she's amazing too. I've never seen her pass out drunk, but I think she's amazing, and she's amazing for a number of different reasons. But she's also a big Star Trek fan, which makes her a superior human being. So,
yeah, she's awesome. Zato, Vic, would you make an appearance on Simpcast, please? Oh, that's my Sunday night show.
I'd be happy to if I were invited.
Oh my God, you are so invited.
Am I invited?
Yes, we'll have to get you a date.
Zatoichi's cane sword. Maybe I'll get on Simpcast. So will you catch us there?
You would
Thank
be
you
so
for
great.
suggesting that. Maybe that'll happen, and you can sit back and go, "I did that."
And then people will be simping for you, Vic. You're very simp worthy.
What does simping mean? What does that mean?
Simping gets a negative connotation. It's usually meant like, oh, like guys are like, I love you. It's like it's this negative connotation that like you'll never see or meet or interact with the people. It's usually meant, I don't know, like the stereotype is like you're a losery guy simping for a girl, but like I named it Simpcast because it's like tongue in cheek, because like oftentimes we're simping for the audience, we simp for each other. It's just like being a fan of somebody, basically.
Well, I would love to join it sometime. That would be fun.
That would be so fun. Yeah, it's tricky. I appreciate the fans so much because I am somebody who I guess like I don't have I talk about this with comedians all the time. Like, I think the more risks you take in comedy and the more like you're not of the mainstream, like basically if you're not like a left winger or you're not a liberal, like you get kind of put in a group where people kind of silently don't want to work with you anymore.
Yes.
Anything from like, oh, these people aren't getting in touch anymore. Oh, people aren't answering my emails. It's like, oh, because I'm libertarian, I'm right of center or whatever it is. Like if you listen to my stand up, I'm not even saying anything that crazy or edgy. It's just like, distance by association. People just don't want to work with you because they're so afraid that you'll be.
Yeah, and what are they afraid of,
brands.
Chrissy? At the end of the day, what are they afraid of? Because I don't know about you, but you know what? If I want to hire a comedian, if you're a good comedian, I'm going to hire you. I don't care who you voted for. What does that have to do with comedy? What does whether or not I'm a conservative or a liberal have to do with whether or not I'm a good voice actor?
Right.
Zippo.
Why does it matter who
nothing.
you're friends with?
It has nothing to do with it. What difference does it make? And you know what? If these people were to think for 1 minute, what if that were applied to them? What if people ousted them from their jobs because they didn't like some of their opinions? What if they tried to ruin their career because they didn't agree with this or that? That they would be in as big a world of trouble as anyone else is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why people can't just live and let live. Be the best person you can be. Quit trying to ruin other people because you either don't like them, don't agree with them, are jealous of them, can't stand that they've succeeded in some way and you haven't, can't stand that people like them and don't know who you are. Come on for something good.
Yeah.
Become proficient at something and people will praise you for it. It's a lot better than getting attention for ruining people.
Right. It's crazy. Like we had a show, I was just talking to Vic about this before we were recording. We had a show this past weekend. It was supposed to be on Thursday in Jersey. Antifa basically doesn't like Gavin McInnes. They shut down the show. Basically they threatened the mayor, or the mayor shut it down because they threatened the funding for this venue, the Williams Center or something like that. It's like really crazy. Like we found out it went pretty deep. And they pulled out and we had to scramble and they found another venue. We ended up doing it in Long Island. We had a blast. We did it at this, basically it was called the America First Warehouse. We had such a great time. Like, and basically in all the confusion, we were able to retain most of the people that were set to come out on Thursday. And it's just, people don't appreciate like the lengths you go through. Like you're actually become a bit of a draw. People come out, like a guy flew out from the UK to see this show. You're a draw. People buy tickets. And instead of being like, oh, hey, I don't like you, I don't agree with your views, or it makes me so sick because like rather than spend time fostering what they like or creating something that they want to go to, it's like they want to destroy the people they disagree with. And it's like, well, what's the best way for something to be destroyed? By people not being interested in them anymore. So it's just like if people are really that bad or untalented or have the wrong opinions, like let the market decide. If no one wants to see them, then I guess they'll fail.
Exactly. I feel exactly the same way.
Ah!
I am containing my Italian personality right now because you know what? Oh, I don't like him. I think he's blah blah. Then don't go.
Yeah. Let the people go who want to go. It's
Exactly.
not, it's so selfish.
Why is your opinion more valuable than the 300 people in line for an autograph?
Yeah.
That's my question to these people. Where did you get the idea that your opinion is more important than the 300 people who came to see Chrissie Mayr or me or
50 people?
Or whatever. Why is it more important? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's so arrogant. It's like the most arrogant, selfish,
it is
self-centered thing you
Chrissie,
could
there
do.
are people out there. There are people out there. Literally, if you Google search their name, the only thing that comes up is their attacks on me. Can you imagine only being known? Like they want to be known so badly. They want to feel relevant so badly that they will rip somebody who they don't even know to shreds or try to ruin their career who's done nothing to them just to get a little bit of attention.
Yeah. I had a venue. I had people call in. They tried to threaten like a venue I was doing in Buffalo. It was like a cigar shop. It was a veteran-owned small business, and these people were calling the venue saying, "Oh, you're hosting a racist party at this venue." They called the surrounding businesses. They tried to like hack into the the software, like try to hack the computer system of this business. And luckily, like they didn't fall for it. They didn't cancel the show. And I really like applaud them. It was Nickel City Cigars in Buffalo, New York. And I'm like, that they are a model of what all these venues should do. And it's like I'm sure these people didn't try that again with that venue because they knew that the threats wouldn't work. And it's like you just have to nut up and not cave to these people. And it's oftentimes like no one's really good to show up. It's like you're just saying no to people tweeting and people sending emails or one bad Yelp review. It's like there's no like honestly like real threat of anything. It's just the idea.
Half the time the same people create multiple email addresses and send the same complaints so that the organizers think that there are more of them than there really are.
Yeah.
It's really quite pathetic that and unfortunate that some people would rather bow and be afraid of 5 or 10 people on the internet and turn their back on
all the money that they were going to make that night.
All the people that they would have made very happy by bringing you in or bringing me in or bringing a performer in whose work they liked.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Arthur was lucky enough to meet Vic at Cumia. Thank you. Thanks for all you do, man.
Thank you, Athrun.
Zella.
What a cool name. Thank you so much. Cumia was a big convention here in Dallas a few years ago. That is a reference, Chrissy, to Dragon Ball.
I knew it.
Whenever they do this big power blast, they go Kamehameha, and so that's where that comes from.
I could use a power blast. From Mirnum, Chrissy, can you ask Jay to get Vic on FNT? Oh yeah, you should do FNT. That would be
What's
great.
FNT?
Friday Night Tights. It's Nerdrotic Scary's show.
Well, you know what, Mirnum? I almost was on it when I went down to Orlando. I was late. My flight was delayed for an hour, and then it took a long time to get through the traffic. And by the time I got to the content house, they were literally wrapping up Friday Night Tights. And I was hoping to get to meet them and be a part of that, and I just missed it. So maybe some other time, hopefully.
Definitely. Robert Lowry, was great meeting you in Orlando, Vic. Oh, I remember you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Hopefully I'll see you in under a month in Orlando again. Robert, come say hello.
E.L. Rittler. Hi, Vic. I met you in Orlando or Jax. You signed my mask and watch. I am now working on my first comic book / anime. Hopefully one day I will actually finish it. You are my top pick for the male lead.
E.L. Ritter.
Woo!
Well, I hope you finish it soon, and I would be honored if that ends up panning out. But in the meantime, congratulations on your first comic book, and I wish you the very best with it. You know what? I have a great deal of love and admiration for people who actually accomplish something.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people in the world who sit around with drinks and I'm going to do this and I'm going to make this and one day I'm going to do this and I'm going to create this. They do nothing. They sit and talk and they have these big high pipe dreams, but they never do anything to accomplish it. So every time I meet a fan who says, I wrote this book and I want you to give you, I created this anime series or I created this comic book. I have such enormous admiration for that because it takes so much more work to actually execute a dream than it does just to dream one.
It's a big deal. Eric Medved. Hello again, by the way. Love you, Chrissy, and your sense of humor. I will simp for you. Vic, I'm in Denver now. Ever get to cons in Colorado?
I have a surprise for you, Eric. I just answered an email from a guy who's putting on a convention in Colorado next year, and he invited me to be there. Eric, if you follow me on Twitter, if you don't, please do, all of you. And if you don't, please do. But I announce all of my appearances there and my fan club website, which I think is scrolling across the bottom here occasionally, risenbullrangers.com. But I tweet out all the places that I'm going to be. So, Eric, keep your eyes open. Keep your ears peeled for an announcement on that.
Yes, follow him on Twitter at VICMIGNOGNA. Nice.
Yes. Real Vic Mignogna.
A couple more premium, Nick. Vic is simp-worthy. I stand with Vic. Yes, very simp-worthy.
Thank you, premium Nick. Thank you. I don't even know what that means, but I hope it's good.
Vic, do you ever do any non-anime dubbing?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm currently working on a prelay series.
Ooh.
Which is so easy. Oh my gosh. Amargad.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I get it now. Oh my god. I love it.
I was like, I just figured that out too.
Yes, I do. I'm working on that. I'm doing audiobooks. They're a lot of fun, and I can do them right here in my lovely little studio. Ooh. And yes, I have done some non-anime dubbing, and I'm doing some more right now.
Okay, cool. I got a couple more to blow through. Chaos Smash. Vic, just want to say I'm glad you're still acting. I have a friend that loves Star Trek. I plan to have her hear you as Broly and in FMA.
Oh, good. Thank you, Chaos Smash.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I'm any of you that have not seen Star Trek Continues, I hope you'll check it out because it's worth every penny you will pay for it.
Ooh, from
in
Good
other
Night,
words,
Mr.
It's free, so
It's free.
You'll lose nothing. If you don't like it, you've lost nothing.
From Good Night, Mr. One day we will meet and we will have to do a song together. Impressed by your karaoke at Content House. Sincerely, Resident Spook.
Oh, good night, Mister. I want to know what your song would be. What song will we sing?
Oh yeah.
If we do a song together, maybe you could let us know which one you would like to do, Mr. Goodnight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I want to get better at duets. Drunky John cosplay. Hi Vic. Crow from Liverpool, UK. You are missed here.
Drunkle John. Well, I miss you too, kiddo. You're a good kid. Drinks on me. I love that character. And you know what? I really miss the UK as well. I would love to get back there, Drunkle John. So put in a good word. You and as many of your friends as possible, let your voices be heard. I miss the UK big time.
Tweet it. Basil, thanks, Vic. It is Basil with a Z.
Basil!
Sony worries me.
Yes. Love it.
Basil. Okay, a couple more. Big Raj, thank you for the super sticker. And Elsa Barrett. Has anyone ever told you that you look exactly like Michael Landon? Who is that? Is that the guy that plays Homelander?
No, Michael Landon. Oh my gosh. Little House on the Prairie, Chrissy.
What? Oh my God.
Wait, wasn't that, or what was the name of his show? Heaven. He was an angel, remember?
Little House on the Prairie?
No, well, that's him there, but what's the show? Heaven. I'm sure you can find it.
Okay, yeah, definitely like a young Michael Landon.
Well, not that
Okay,
young.
a
Not
little
that
there.
young. Not that young. Oh, he's much better. He's
Hello.
much better looking than I am. What are
Ah!
you talking about? Michael, yeah,
Same
what was the name of that show? Heaven.
Highway to Heaven.
Highway to Heaven. Thank you, Frank.
Frank knows.
Frank, fly over with the facts.
Filing cabinet.
Dropping the truth.
Okay, awesome. And one more from Goodnight Mister. Hotel California? Oh, is that the one?
Welcome to the Hotel California.
California. Such a love.
She's going to join us as well, okay?
I have some work to do. I have to work on my my pipes.
You can never leave.
You were so good. You were like crushing it. Jonah, I discovered Ricada through what you went through in 2019. I hope you're doing much better. God bless. Any plans on coming to Alberta, Canada?
Jonah, thank you. I love Nick and I'm very grateful for the kindness and the support that I got from him and so many others. God bless you as well, by the way, Jonah. Thank you. That does not escape me. I want to make sure and send that right back to you. I don't have any current plans, but I have done a lot of shows in Canada, and I would love to get back up there. So, Jonah, at the risk of, again, sounding like a broken record, you and your friends write the staff of conventions up there, and hopefully I'll get back up there and see you soon.
Yeah, they do listen to that. Like they care about making people happy, and they want to make their event, more attractive to you guys. So
I hope so. Some of them do, and some of them don't. Some of them just don't want to deal with a handful of malcontents. And instead of standing up for what their attendees want, you know what I mean? They just, I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, there's a few noisy people who ruin it for everyone. I know that very well. But you know what? That's the thing is like you can only be canceled if you quit and you stop, and that's it. So you just have to keep going. Some actually don't give a shit. Yeah, it's true. I think the majority of people are about it, and I think are for it. It's just the noisy minority that
it is. They make so much noise, and they know it too, by the way. They know that if they annoy somebody enough, and if they go to enough trouble to create enough wrinkle, maybe just to get them to shut up, the organizers will do their bidding. And what the organizers don't understand is all they're doing is empowering these people. All they're doing is giving them one more notch on their belt and making them feel important for another 6 minutes. And then they move on because, hey, it worked this time. Maybe it'll work again next time.
No, noisy minorities. Yeah, no, you know what I meant. This was great, Vic. I'm such a big fan of you as a person. I'm going to become a fan of your work eventually when I get through it all. From Zato. Okay. One more from Zato Cane Sword. I feel like a band has been made here. Thank you both. Oh, a bond. Yes, a bond. A band. I want it to be a band so badly. I'm like,
it may be both. It may be both. Zatoichi, you probably just created a band, and it's all your fault. We're gonna call ourselves the Cane Swords.
I'm gonna have to play the triangle. I'm going to do it. I'm going to play something low impact. But yeah, Vic, it was so great. Thank you for coming on the stream tonight. It was such an honor and a privilege to meet and hang with you in Orlando.
Thank you. You are extraordinary. And I loved meeting you and singing with you in Orlando. And I loved our conversation over lunch out by the pool that one day. And I'm so honored to have been a small part of your show. So thank you so much.
We'll have to invite you to the next Content House. Oh, one more from Chaos Smash. There's a guy on YouTube named Power King Greg that would like to have both Vic and Chrissie on his podcast. I don't mean to be a pest. All right, we'll check that out.
Well, you're definitely no pest, Chaos, and thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, everybody.
You guys, and as always, thank you so much for your kindness and support. It has meant the world to me. And I hope I get the chance to thank each of you in person someday.
Aw, thank you guys, and we'll see you